really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I need more of this. I need more Tyrese Halliburton videos. And I've said this, and I feel as if I'm the Pied Piper of this storyline. I feel as if this is mine. I started it all. I started telling everybody that would be willing to listen, even those that suggest that I was just a big-time blue and gold butt sniffer. The NBA and the Eastern Conference need the Pacers. Need the Pacers. So I will take all of the Tyrese Halliburton working his way back to us. I wanted to do some kind of Spinners reference right there, but it didn't quite work out. Working his way back. Because we dealt with a lot of disappointment. This time last year, remember how exciting it was, how awesome it was? We're in a period of time right now where it is going to be every person for himself or herself in creating content. And last year was ready-made. Last year, I didn't have Pat Sullivan on, and I love having Pat Sullivan on every Friday. I did not have him on, if you remember, until the week before the 4th of July because of this Pacers run. But it's not just me, and it's not just me stating that because I'm saying that in front of you, and I'm getting you all juiced up. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your rear end because this is a team that had to surrender its lottery selection to the Clippers in a trade for Ivica Zubac. I'm saying it because I believe it. And even beyond that, I'm saying it because it's true. And it seems like every single day we have seen the evidence of yet another reason why I'm accurate about it, why I'm right. Hell, ESPN should feel this way right now. What are they going to roll? You had two teams, or in this case, two conference finals that end in 4-game sweeps. So basically, you don't have anything until what? ABC and ESPN until you end up getting the NBA Finals. Do they have the Stanley Cup final? They're waiting around, with the exception of that occasional baseball game that nobody gives a crap about that's on ESPN anymore. They have to sit around and wait because of the lack of competition in the Eastern Conference. People said yesterday, well, you're not giving the Knicks enough credit. See, I am not a hater of the entire situation. I actually like Jalen Brunson, which I know is weird, but it's true. I like him because of how he has worked. He has worked at his craft, and that's something that, even if you don't want to see said team win, that is something I can never get past. I have a great deal of admiration for that. Hard work and success found when it's not easily found. You're not born. I know that his dad played in the NBA, and I'm sure he had a great kickstart, but he had to work his ass off to prove it. So there is something to be said about that situation that I have, again, a deeply rooted admiration about. It still does not take care of the fact that the East has been awful and the entire viewing experience of the Eastern Conference has been just dreadful so far. And again, another great example with ESPN without NBA programming, ESPN without basically sports programming. They're going to wear me out with bringing on the wrestlers and talking about the clash in Italy. What the hell is that? I know everybody loves it, and I know there's a reason why. But this time of year, you're supposed to care about something else, and you're without it right now. There's just no competition. So one more time, that solidifies the importance as to why we continue to see the Tyrese Halliburton videos of his rehab and coming back, because we know this to be true as well. We know the Pacers have a 2-year window before things really go haywire. And how do they say it? The chickens come home to roost, which I've never really understood that particular cliche or saying. But I guess in this case, after 2 years, unless they can do something that is incredibly rude and swift and conniving and incredibly smart, and I'm not suggesting they're not, but after that second year, it's going to be difficult. And hopefully we don't, but we may end up with seasons where we're not watching anything in the postseason, where there's no Pacers and Racers. There's really nothing since April. But the next 2 years are going to decide a couple of different things. One is, again, just how right the organization is or isn't, me included with my take on this, but bringing back the excitement for something that is lost. And all you got to do is look at ESPN. Ugh. And I know it wears you out because it's just the constant Nick storyline. That is kind of what happens when you make the finals of whatever sport that you're in. And it's more magnified when you're the Knicks and you're making the finals in whatever sport that you're in. But you continue to notice, because you see it, just how important in the scope of things the Pacers are upon their return. And their return to prominence in the Eastern Conference. Everybody needs you. And we all need more Tyrese Halliburton looking good and feeling good videos. All of them. We can hit that if you like at 239-1070. I'll have to look up as well, because I don't know if ESPN has the Stanley Cup final. I'm assuming they do. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's TNT. I know TNT has the East going on right now, and then out west, you saw Vegas put away Colorado last night in a 4-game sweep, so that series is over, James.
It's TNT and True TV.
TNT and True TV. I do like me some Kenny Albert calling hockey. I can't lie. I do like me some Kenny Albert calling hockey. Hey, by the way, too, you have yet another in the Eastern Conference final between Montreal and Carolina coming up later on tonight. We'll see if the Habs can get even in that series after blowing the last couple in overtimes and winning that initial game in Raleigh. That's coming up later on tonight at 8 o'clock. Yes, James. So ESPN is without basically anything for a long time.
Actually, True TV may have been last year. ESPN, I believe, is this year.
This year. All right. So ESPN is awaiting the Stanley Cup final. But they're without really anything for the time being. And waiting on things to get underway, and they already have these finals. They have these days. This is like a worst-case scenario. They're going to need more Stephen A. Smith versus Jaylen Brown dialogue. Got to bring the Miz on like 19 more times. And they are surely going to need it. I will say this, too. It is weird. You look at last year and consider what we had to talk about, the content we had that was just ready-made, that was placed on a plate. And believe me, I've been around here long enough where it is okay. I'll find what I want to talk about. We will talk about it, share it, and then move on. But last year, all this was so ready-made, and you love it. And the biggest love about the whole thing was the fact that everybody was so excited. And you just don't have that right now. You had the Indianapolis 500, and people have said, how can they go to Detroit? And believe me, I want to say, how can you go to the toilet as well? How can you go to Detroit a week after. Don't you have to let it breathe? These teams that are participating full-time are put through the month of May ringer, and they're tired, they're exhausted, and you got to have more than a week. Well, I can understand one thing. I can understand of wanting to take or try to take what you had last week and parlay that into an added layer of interest. The problem is that race to me has just never gotten it done. Maybe Milwaukee did for the old school fans back in the day. I don't know if you need another oval or more ovals, or maybe they need to go to Gateway after this. I don't know. But they're probably going to go to Roger Penske's town and Roger Penske State immediately following the 500. And you're trying to parlay that into a level of interest. The problem is just impossible because you guys all exhale as well. That's why it's so unique. And really, it's so prevalent that they are building these once-a-weekend IndyCar fans, and you've got to try to play off of it. What I mean by that is you have all this other stuff going on, all this other entertainment going on out there. And then, oh, by the way, yeah, look who just won. There's Felix Rosenqvist. Oh, there's David Malukas. You don't have, not everybody out there, I should say, you do have, but not everybody out there is as deeply rooted an IndyCar fan, an open wheel fan, and know all the dudes that we're talking about. But you do introduce them to a number of folks in a weekend like this past. I wish that there was a better solution for it. Alas, there's not. And you're just kind of moving on. Trying to play off and hope that, again, you do put a little bit more interest into something that you're not going to scratch the surface on in terms of what was provided this past weekend. And I would agree with you. It is Wednesday, and we are still kind of buzzing about the whole thing. And for me, it's more than just the race itself. It is the weekend. I'm kind of like your average fan out there, I guess. But it was one hell of a time, to say the least. And until further notice, that is going to be your solution. And it is Detroit coming up this weekend. NBA Western Conference Finals from last night. It was the Thunder 127-114 over the Spurs. I have watched with a great deal of interest, and obviously it was a focus of ours a year ago with OKC, with a great deal of interest on how Oklahoma City turned into or from that little team that was savvy and smart and doing with Sam Presti what they can do to best position themselves to win in the longer-term future. They had a process, didn't they? And they utilized the process. They were smart, they were savvy, all of it. But it has been interesting to watch how that smart and savvy team has become, because of their high level of success, so incredibly hated. And I will tell you this as a basketball fan. You can talk about, and maybe this is just me, and I know that I speak to this because we talked about it a year ago, and I know I speak to this because when I bring up this particular term, immediately everybody says, well, you know, you embraced it with Reggie Miller, and I've had to explain how there is a dramatic difference, and there just is. But the whole flopping thing, somebody is going to have to come up with a solution for that. I don't know if it's better eyeballs. I don't know what it is. Better officials. These are already so-called the best in the world. How can you be flopticized? They're flopticized all the time. It seems like to me, if you have somebody that is a notorious flopper or a foul baiter, I want to say it too. I want to say a master at foul baiting. Seems like if you have that there would be more eyeballs on. Don't you do that when you have like a badass player that can be a pain? And don't you watch that particular player a little bit differently? Does it matter when it's the MVP, the two-time MVP? I do. I want to like, and I felt the same way about Jalen Brunson because he was the king of the head bob. In fact, you remember that story? I never knew this was the truth or not. You guys remember the story about Brunson? That the reason why he did his hair the way that it was, it's because it magnified the head bob. It made it look even more dramatic when he head bobbed. And when he kind of, he glorified the contact, if you will, that he was receiving on the dribble drive. And I do like him, and I want to like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I do want to give players their props, and especially one that is two-time defending MVP. Alas, my biggest problem with this, and I said last week, and we were all out in front of this, is that it's one thing that you pump fake and somebody gets out of position defensively and you run into them. It's another thing that when you fall down, anytime anybody is in your general vicinity, in your area, you fall down. You're falling down all the time. So if you're the best in the world at what you do, how do you not get this? How do you not at least magnify those that have been more times than not guilty in utilizing these measures? And measure them a little bit differently. I mean, you do with the badasses. The horses' rear ends. You think beef stew, you think Isaiah Stewart's got a different whistle than everybody else out there because he's a jackass? Of course he does. I know you're the two-time defending MVP, but this level of flopdom has got to be dealt with. You guys talk about what's going to take you away from the game. This is going to take me away. That's taking me away. Listen, nothing is going to take me away. I'll be taken away from basketball kicking and screaming because I love it. But I'll be damned, it drives me nuts to watch that crap. I know leg kickouts, pump fakes, drawing the contact. I'm all for living in a world of drawing the contact. I am not all for falling down again when you're in the general vicinity of a defensive player every single time. And what is so funny about it is, holy hell, you don't need to do it. You're already good enough. You're already good enough. But again, so should the best in the world. The best in the world should be good enough. Why aren't they? Are they the best in the world if they don't get that? If you get clowned or if you fall for the banana in the tailpipe from all these, are you the best in the world? These guys are officiated differently. That stands the test of time. This drives you nuts, though. Like with Jordan, remember the whole Jordan rules thing, and how Jordan got caught. It was like that was necessary, and I know that is a sucky argument, but like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's unnecessary. Nobody really cares. I mean, we're not creating, or this is not one of the best we've ever seen. It's a moment or two, and it's a future Hall of Famer. But damn. How do you fall for that every single time? And you're doing things about, what is this, the 3-2-1 or 1-2-3 or whatever this jackassery is with the whole NBA draft lottery. I'm surprised the NBA said, oh, yeah, you know what? We don't have to do it right now because, look, it was justified. The Pacers lost their pick. They lost their pick. They had to surrender. So, yeah, you know what? Don't worry about it now. You deal with everything else. This is actually the game on the floor, and it's the two-time MVP. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with that. I know kicking and screaming would be me. Can you imagine if they lost me? What would you have if you lost me? I'm Mr. Go home and watch all these basketball, and nothing has driven me away. All this world of NIL and transfer portal, players going 19 different directions, completely foobarring the mid-level teams, the mid-major teams. Like my school, Indiana State, got no chance, zero chance, none. I don't have enough financial stability to help them out. I wish I did. Here's a load of money. Go get me some players, Graves. Like now. Yeah, everybody's going to need that. Yeah, I also saw that the Senators are getting involved with stuff too. It's funny. That's always the last thing that you need. Like the sports now are always going to be infiltrated by the whole political angle. I feel rotten when that happens. Anybody else feel rotten when that happens? I think it's okay that we sit here and we complain about this or we're critical about this. But the political angles, I've always thought, man, you keep it over here and let my good friends Hammer and Nigel, they'll handle it down the hall, and let me handle this. Or let us handle this. They're going to figure it out. I got news for you. I don't have any confidence that any of these dudes can figure out a damn thing, to be quite honest with you. I do have to laugh. Especially with the politics around here, it makes me laugh too. These guys all the time flexing on social media. All these nerds. Pretty funny. The only time they've ever been able to flex. And you see it. So they could stay out. Unless somebody tells me in full detail that they have a good idea, they can absolutely stay out. But this is something that is absolutely going to have to be dealt with. And this is, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, because I do have to go to a break here, but a good analogy. It is, the epidemic of flopping is so magnified. Remember when Steph Curry was just going through, and he still is a superstar, but when everybody was going, oh, wow, about Steph Curry, I mean, you had kids of every single age pulling up from half court and trying to take Steph Curry shots. You know, everybody still loves that, certainly with Caitlin Clark, even though you would rather her scoot in a little bit, because even I can knock down like 1 of every 10 from out there. It's not that big of a deal. But seriously, you kind of take on, and in this case, if you watch all these different, everybody's falling all over the floor, wiggling around on the floor. That's not why basketball is here. Agree? Yeah, something's got to be done, and something's got to be done about that. I think in a big hurry. And I know Silver is concentrating on how you can better serve the NBA lottery and the non-tanking degree, but this is like right front when they're actually playing, and when one of your conferences is not a tremendous joke as it was in this postseason. When you're actually playing games, this is what you get in those playing games, and that overrides everything else that goes on. All right, quick break. We'll come back. We will discuss that more in full detail. I think Bowen's at the top of the hour. Justin Walley was a third-round selection in 2025 by the Colts. ACL injury in, I think, the first or going into the second week of August of last summer. And the season was over. He is back. He is cleared. And there's going to be a lot on the redshirt rookie's plate this season for this team in the secondary. A lot. I've never talked to him, but Justin Walley is going to join us. This show coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. James has informed me of disturbing news that I've got to go 8 minutes long today. Who the hell came up with this? Who concocted this ridiculous idea? Whose fault? Who do I blame for this? The Fever Weekly? Who does the Fever Weekly? Is that Tidrow?
He's doing it today. So
Tidrow's giving me the deep blank in here, right?
I guess you could say that today.
Tidrow. I don't even know him. He's screwing me over right here. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, and evidently an extra 8 for good measure, because the first 3 hours just aren't nearly enough. I need another 8 minutes. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. This is 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. Hey, John, for Rhino Shield, never, ever, ever paint your house again. You're going to get a 25-year transferable warranty. You know how good that sounds? Can you imagine if you're somebody out there right now, and I bet you are, where you've noticed cracking and shredding of the paint, and you go, here I go. Get the ladder out, the bucket of paint, the Wagner Power Painter. I've got to get up on the side of the house and paint this bad boy. Not with the ceramic coating in nearly every color imaginable. That is Rhino Shield. And a 25-year transferable warranty, and even better, right now you mention my name when you give them a call. That's 888-RHINO-41. You're going to get 15% off the regular price. So you can get the Rhino Shield 25-year warranty and the protection and beautify your home, your residence, or your commercial building. And you mention my name at 888-RHINO-41. They're going to give you 15% off the regular price. Glorious, isn't it? Take advantage of that right now. Let them know where you heard it. 888-RHINO-41. Again, mention my name. 15% off the regular price for that guaranteed protection. RhinoShieldIN.com, residential and commercial. Don't paint, no vinyl, go Rhino, and never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Ride with JMV.
We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Uh-oh, Nick is running the board in there. Hey, Nick, let everybody hear your glorious tones.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on?
Here's what I need from you, right? Check, baby. 1, 2, 3. Do that.
Check, baby. 1, 2, 3.
That's very Teddy Riley of you over there. Well done. Nick is running things, and James is advising, which means FUBAR is imminent here on this show on a Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us. I did want to give a quick shout-out. My man Mouse, and you guys probably know up in Hamilton County, his nickname is Mouse. I don't know how many Mouses or Mises. That's Pixie and Dixie. I don't know how many Mises or Mouses you have up there. Sky Lake Adventures Water Park. Mouse has been telling me about this for the better part of 7 months. And I believe they are having a gradual grand opening in layers. But that place looks incredibly fun. He just sent me a video of it, and it looks fun. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to strap on my Speedos. Now, they already make me show my passport when I get up into Hamilton County. Will they make me wear something else other than Speedos? We'll find out. Sky Lake Adventures Water Park. My man Mouse, go get it. This is exactly what I was talking about. Good friend of the show, Lee Adams, writes this. This is why I refuse to watch the NBA. Seriously. What's wrong with the officiating that they don't see these flops? Genuine question. Does the league office instruct officials to let this go with certain players? That is one Lee Adams hell of a conspiracy theory. I wouldn't doubt it. How else would you, unless the best in the world are oftentimes the most inept in the world at seeing the obvious. And especially when everything else is a trend today, right? Everything else is a trend. Hey, what's trending on social media? What's trending today on X? What's trending on Facebook? Hey, I'm trending on Instagram because I wore a Speedo to Sky Lake. Hey, we're trending. The analytics of it, right? So when you have a trend like this that doesn't even take analytical thought, it just takes having vision. Hey, I've got some vision and I see it. How is that not dealt with? Seriously. Kenny Atkins told us all, hey, you know what? We've won a couple of these games analytically speaking. How do you not see it? These are better than analytics. These are visuals. And they're visual trends that can easily be seen. Lee, I'm with you, man. All the way. And I will further say this. Lee, I more blame the NBA and the officiating than I do the player. I've said this before about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, really anybody. You do it, and you get away with it, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. Why? We all would do that. Now, I don't happen to think that that is the reason why he's a two-time MVP. He's just a really good player. I think he could be two-time MVP without the shenanigans. But that's an interesting X message you sent me, and that is trending on X right now. You would think this would be trending. Everybody's talking about it. I mean, hell, the only thing interesting about the postseason right now is Victor Wembanyama and flopping. And because everybody's in love with the Knicks. Like three things. That's it. Lee, you're 100% accurate. So I made a joke yesterday about the Cubs. The Cubs have now lost 10 straight. Shout out to Nick over there rocking that Cubs hoodie. Ha ha. And I get this response from Southside Tommy about midnight last night. You're a Reds fan. We understand this is all that you have. And while Southside Tommy's not altogether wrong, not altogether inaccurate, the reason why I do it is you know me and my rule. I am nice until it's time not to be nice. I only fire upon when I have been fired at. So when the Reds were going through their we want the funk, their massive we want the funk, I was getting made fun of as a Reds fan. Now, that's not unique to my being as a Reds fan because we often get made fun of, really constantly get made fun of, and rightly so, because more times than not, it is an incredibly jokish, clownish, ridiculous organization. Bad ownership, the nerd that runs it, I mean, all the above. You're never doing what it takes to get a winner for a fan base that has shown in the past that they will support a winner, but you get sick and tired of the same old, same old. So, really, punching down in terms of punching down at the Reds would be the reason why, Southside Tommy, I responded in the fashion in which I did yesterday. And laughing about the fact now, and that was just at 9, now it's at 10, and it's even more hilarious. All right, you don't need to punch down at the Reds. We know. We live it. We constantly question why we are Reds fans. And let's face it, there's really 3 reasons. 3-year reasons why we're Reds fans: 1990, 1975, and 1976. There's really not been a reason to be a Reds fan since 1990. I admittedly love Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Ken Griffey. You know how much I love Eric Davis. So you're kind of punching down, but when you punch down, somebody that's not really normally ready to fire back, when your squad drops now 10 straight, in the most hilarious of fashions, then the host of this show will return fire. So that's why. That's why, Southside Tommy. So you just kind of open yourself up to be fired upon. Just leave this little loser of an organization alone. And give us our April. You know, we had like 1 month to get all excited, all jacked up, all aroused about Reds baseball. And you had that 1 month of April, and, oh, yeah, this is great. And it took them a week or less, actually 2 road series, to crap all over it, to ruin it. So just give us our very small moments in time. There's no need to punch down on this. No need at all. Josh writes this, JMV, too bad the Reds are not in the AL West. They'd have a 4-game lead. Ooh, you say on Oakland, too. It is not Oakland. We addressed this yesterday. It is unique because in the American League West, the leader as of last night, I don't know if they won or lost last night. As of yesterday, the Athletics were leading the AL West. They are leading the AL West right now by a half game, and they are a game under 500. They're called the Athletics because they're caught between the moon and Las Vegas, Christopher Cross. They are somewhere between Sacramento and Las Vegas. And I believe that's like Bonanza. See, I think isn't somewhere between Sacramento and Las Vegas, is that not where Bonanza was? Was that like Nevada City or something? Carson City. What was Bonanza? I just call it Bonanza. The Bonanza A's. But they are the Athletics, which is very unique because they are just going by their nickname. But you are nevertheless accurate about it. Exactly. Shenanigans. That's good. Has anybody gone with that one yet? Can I get that copyright? Shenanigans? Shea Gilgis Alexander, the shenanigans. Somebody's had to have come up with that by now. JMV, does the extra 8 minutes mean anything goes? It does. In fact, Kevin Smith, actor, writer, director, and evidently stand-up comedian, is at Helium coming up this weekend. Kevin Smith, bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. He has just phoned, and he will join us. Actually, Kevin has been on this show before. I believe that was pre-heart attack Kevin Smith on this show before. You know, Clerks and Mallrats. Jay and Silent Bob. Jay has been on the show before. Kevin Smith joins us coming up at the bottom of the hour. And Justin Walley, who is a redshirt rookie of the Colts, a third-rounder in 2025, is cleared and good to go. He joins us after 5. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Here's something I don't know if anybody knew about. Last year was kind of covered up, but there are some celebs that we love in town this weekend. I'll explain what that is coming up on the other side. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm John, and I have a tremendous idea for you. It is GLP-1 weight loss injections. Thomas and Lauren and Samantha. I am talking about elite level participation to make sure you reach your weight loss goals at Premier Weight Loss. The 2 Indy area locations, Northside 317-643-4444, and in Fishers at 317-567-9100. So you've thought about it. You've mulled it over, and you're thinking now is the time to move forward on your very own weight loss journey. Let Premier Weight Loss create a path for you. And they're going to create a path where they're going to be along every step of the way to make sure you reach your goals. Now, I will tell you this from experience. If you work alongside, if you do the work, if you adjust your diet, then good things are going to happen, and you're going to see good things quickly. Now, you want to do the work alongside, but have your very own goals and reach those goals with Premier Weight Loss. Also, as far as the whole cosmetics situation goes, have you ever thought about doing Botox? How about skin tightening? Or, as I have done like 12 times, the electronic toning, which absolutely works. Ask me about that one of these days because I have tremendous stories of that thanks to Premier Weight Loss. But get started on your very own weight loss journey today. 317-643-4444. Ask me when I'm out. I'll tell you. Tell them that I sent you. But get started today. That's PWLindy.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Johnny, don't. David Letterman.
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, along with Team USA as Group D. The U.S. men's national team in the World Cup, in which the U.S. will host. Now, Greg Rakestraw's got you covered on that coming up tomorrow. He's going to be at Buffalo Wild Wings and Speedway off of Crawfordsville Road with Michelob Ultra, stuff to give away. And I'm sure a lot of chatter, certainly that is more intelligent than mine. I'll just tell it like it is. When you host and you're in that group, and when the question is, do you think that the men's team can advance? My answer is, you damn straight better. How much longer can we possibly be talking about this? Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. You're the host. Yes, you better advance out of your group. Am I wrong? I know I'm not the most intelligent anything, really, but sure as hell not the most intelligent soccer fan. Shouldn't that be a must? Now, we learned yesterday on November the 20th at Lucas Oil Stadium, IU will play Kentucky. We learned earlier today Cambridge Fieldhouse will host a regular season college hoops matchup with Indiana and Syracuse. That is on a Monday night. So weird, right? Monday, November the 9th for that. And then Friday, November the 20th, which coincides with football semi-state action around here. IU basketball making that announcement a little bit earlier today. Aaron writes this, JMV, the flapping with SGA makes him unwatchable. I would agree. I would agree. It's not because of what took place last year. It's not because you're tired of watching OKC play and be successful. That crap wears you out. 100% agree. JMV, you mentioned during the break that a lot of celebrities we know will be in town this weekend. Why? Have you guys seen the Indiana Comic Convention? I believe that to be this weekend, if I'm not wrong. Gene Simmons of Kiss. I'm just going over the ones that I know right here. You probably know more than I do. That's this weekend, I believe, right?
Looks like Comic-Con is next weekend.
No, not this, but next. James, then get on it. Get me somebody there.
June 5th through the 7th.
All right. Anthony Michael Hall. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Laura Prepon. That 70s show, anybody recollect? She was smoketacular. Anne Margaret. That's legendary right there, Anne Margaret. All you got to do, I believe, if you look up Anne Margaret in an appearance on Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show, then thank me later. You can find that on YouTube. I mentioned Anthony Michael Hall, Nikki Reed, Famke Janssen. She was in Rounders. Catherine Bell. There you go. I believe she was a part of. Every time I heard it, I go, man, how could you be calling a game and then promo Jag? Catherine Bell in town? Not this weekend, but next. Amy Smart, Punky Brewster, Soel Moonfry. Amy Smart was in Varsity Blues, and I believe Road Trip, right? Ric Flair, James, is in town. He's been on the show before. He had a spider on his head, and I didn't tell him about it. Remember that? I was like, what do you do here? He's got a spider crawling around his head during our interview, and I just let it crawl there. I didn't say anything. You don't go, hey, Rick. Hey, Ric Flair joins us. You've got a spider on your head.
You don't want to tell the nature boy he's got a spider on his head?
Yeah, hey, Ric Flair joins us here, and you've got an arachnid that's crawling around in your dome there, Rick. Want me to get it? Want me to smack it off? Probably not. That's just a part of what is going to be, not this weekend, but the weekend after next. As Nick rightly said, it is called the Indiana Comic Convention. Get Anthony Michael Hall on this show next week. Got to happen. I would talk to Catherine Beller and Margaret, too. We've had Gene Simmons on before. Not this weekend again, but next weekend. Kevin Bowen's going to join us on the other side. Kevin Smith, the actor, the writer, the director, the comedian, bottom of this hour. He's in town this weekend at Helium Comedy Club downtown. And Justin Walley from the secondary of the Colts, ACL injury early August of last year. His redshirt rookie campaign. He's going to be counted on that secondary. What it has taken him to work all the way back from that injury. Justin Walley joins us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. John here for Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37. That is in Fishers. His name is Eric Wilson, and Eric Wilson can help. Can help you get into the new vehicle of your choice. Can help you have the greatest car buying experience ever while saving money, having the security longer term. That is the service after the sale. But you might ask, all right, so what about the product? Let's start with Buick, the Enclave, in different styles. Again, across the board for the family going into the summertime and a summer road trip. This is an absolute must. The inventory is there. Incentives to buy helps you save. Service after the sale keeps it running longer for you, which also saves you money. Where do you find all this? With my friend Eric Wilson and Andy Moore Buick GMC. Tell them I sent you today. 131st State Road 37 in Fishers. It is bullseyeeventgroup.com. That's the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Have you checked out what they have for you? You've seen the Colts schedule? Find a game. Make sure you combo that up with the best pregame party anyplace. I'm going to be a part of that with you as well. All you can eat, all you can drink. You know all about it with my friend Kyle Cadet and bullseyeeventgroup.com. Any game, all games, all of your tickets, and again, all of your pregame party needs will be met. The greatness that is bullseyeeventgroup.com. It is so simple. Easy. Log on, find the game of your choice, maybe the games of your choice, maybe all of them, but make sure you're a part of the best game day experience possible. Get those Colts tickets and combo that up with the Colts VIP tailgate today with bullseyeeventgroup.com.
The Ride with JMV.
I love JMV. He looks like Rascal Flatts guy.
Got a cool soul patch.
He does, and a buttery smooth voice.
Oh, yeah.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Anybody out there need a tutorial regarding game number 4 of the Eastern Conference Stanley Cup Final? I got it for you. Does anything help a lot of you lose your sports arousal more than somebody all of a sudden going into that? I will tell you, I have enjoyed, and part of it is because Blake and I sit there and watch, so it's like the dudes are together. And I don't mind learning it. And then when we had Rob Ray of the Sabres on here, that was cool as hell. But seriously, there are things that will quickly persuade you to want to change the topic of discussion. Right? Now, you guys know all the above with me. But hockey's probably right there with somebody talking about their new Yeti. Which we all love Yetis. But if you have a Yeti cooler and somebody just got a Yeti cooler, you know they're going to spend 5 minutes talking about the Yeti cooler, and you probably don't really care that much. And the same goes for the NHL here. But I do like watching the Canadians. But again, it's more of a family father and son type of deal right there. The Habs and the Canes tonight at 8 o'clock. The Bell Center looks like it's outstanding. It's just the Canadians consistently lose their ass at home, which is weird. Down 2-1. They've lost the last 2 in overtime to the Canes. And the Vegas Golden Knights await the winner of that Eastern Conference series. Jarrett writes this before I get to Kevin Bowen. JMV, something I never thought I would say. I've watched significantly more Fever regular season ball than I have the NBA playoff basketball this year. As always, go Dogs, Jarrett. All right, quickly. The Eastern Conference, and this hasn't been the case with some in the West. I don't find OKC and the Spurs without being compelling basketball. The Eastern Conference has sucked. And there is nobody out there that can tell you otherwise. And you can say that without taking anything away or being, having a chapped ass or being butthurt about the Knicks. This has nothing to do with the Knicks. It has everything to do with the Eastern Conference landscape without the Pacers sucks. It does. Cleveland, Detroit, Boston, Philadelphia, on, and Atlanta suck. It has stunk, and that's why it stunk without the Pacers. Now, I will say this regarding the Fever. If you tune in and the Eastern Conference stinks and you get sick and tired of SGA flopping, I will sometimes have to turn off the Fever or a WNBA game if I see about 1,000 missed layups. I do have to do that. I go, hey, the least you can do is make a stinking layup sometimes. But I do get where you're coming from on that one, Jarrett. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is the owner of the missed layup record at Cathedral High School. That's why he was a golfer. From the morning show, he ran 1075thefan.com. And somebody told me he got significantly drunk on Sunday at the Indianapolis 500. Kevin Bowen joins us. Is that true? Significantly drunk?
Oh, I wouldn't say significantly, but I would say I definitely had a pop or two.
Did you have a Did you have a buzz? Did you have a buzz going?
Yeah, I would say I was at a nice cruise control on the highway. I was at a nice.
No, well, don't put it in those terms, please.
Obviously not behind the wheel.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I was at a nice pace. I will say I was quite humbled to go to my seats, and I'm waiting in the bathroom, and all of a sudden this dude comes up in line. It's like, Jake Query, I love you, man. Oh, Jake, so great to see you, man. I didn't realize You sit up here. I'm thinking to myself, oh, I mean, don't you know Jake's doing far more important things than I am tonight? So
were you in the bathroom when were you and the Query fan hugged it out?
I was just outside of the bathroom.
Oh, that's close enough to the bathroom. There should be no hugging going on. Does this guy understand that? Hopefully, he was significantly drunk.
Yeah, well, he definitely seemed like he was there. So, well, I would hope. I don't really think Jake and I.
Part of my issue.
Yeah, we were just outside.
The part of my issue with my low-calorie beer movement is it takes a lot more to get me to where I ultimately want to go. And during that time, when I'm on the path to get there, if I crack the bladder early, it is an endless march to the bathroom. So that's problematic. And I think that's why when I drink this, I'm basically drinking yellow water, right? It's like 90 calorie yellow water, and it takes me a lot more to get there. That's what I have noticed. If I crack the bladder early, then that is going to be problematic because it's going to be like a parade. It's a layup line to the bathroom for me.
Yeah, it honestly is something that I need to I think you and I have had the bladder conversation before. I got a small one. I was really fortunate, though. I think I held it. I went pre-race. I think I held it till about – I was sitting right in the middle of the row. I think I held it till about lap I think I was pretty close to lap 100. So I was pretty pleased with that effort there. Usually I'm like –
Does it hurt us on the inside when we hold – when we hold it, does it hurt us on the inside? Does that have any impact on our innards?
That's a great question. Yeah, boy, that's
we should have asked that at St. Francis, folks, back in November. Why didn't we do that? Next time, hey, write that down. Next time, let's remember to ask our friends at St. Francis if that has any impact, negative impact, when we hold it as long as we do. Because I've never asked.
Yeah, that sounds like Franciscan health at the golf outing next year. That'll be the first question that I'm asking.
It's Kevin Bowen on the Eddie Moore Automotive Group hotline. So Justin Walley is going to join me a little bit later on, and he has a past of playing outside and inside, and I think everybody kind of views him as somebody that's going to take over that spot now that he's been completely cleared to go. That Kenny Moore II has a long time been around here, has now vacated. And we lost his efforts early August of a year ago. What type of impact would you gather you could expect from him in basically what is going to be a red shirt rookie campaign for him?
Well, I think they're going to give him a huge role. I mean, I think he's the new Kenny Moore. I think that's kind of the expectation with him. And, he was out there practicing today. We just got off the practice field from watching their first OTA, and I was a little surprised to maybe see how active he was. And I'll throw Hunter Wohler, the second-year safety out of Wisconsin. Walley's the torn ACL playing corner. Wohler is the Liz Frank foot injury playing safety. And Wohler looks to be a guy competing with A.J. Halsey for that strong safety spot. So I think his coaching staff is very high on both of those guys. So we'll see, how their recoveries are. I mean, those are, even if Halsey starts, you're going to be having 2, maybe 3 defensive starters that have never played a snap in the NFL. So that's going to be quite, the experience. And obviously early in the season, they'll get tested a ton. It's Lamar Jackson week 1. It's Patrick Mahomes week 2. And, we'll see where C.J. Stroud is in week 3. But, it's quite the quarterback slate. I know we've talked a lot about Daniel Jones and that injury, but it's quite the opposing quarterback slate early in the season.
Can a team's success be counted upon defensively that will count more on a high-level secondary than it does a high-level edge rushing up front, or, a quarterback pressure-packed type of defensive line or rush? Can you count on that defensively for a level of success?
It's a great question. Because conversely, I feel like in years past, the thought has been, hey, with cornerback play being a little iffy, can your pass rush help you out to, alleviate? Because they do go hand in hand, rush and cover, cover and rush. You always kind of hear that. And now I'm kind of thinking it's the reverse. Tavarius Ward, Mooney Ward, Sauce Gardner, if they can hold up as outside corners, then all of a sudden you help out your pass rush that way. It's more of the coverage doing that. Now, part of me thinks it's a lot to ask for any coverage group to be out there having to, cover back there for 4 or 5, 6 seconds. At some point, you're just going to break down. So I do think if there's a unit on this team, though, that could be better than maybe we're talking about, and potentially could be one of the better ones in the league, I do think it is that secondary. I mean, I'd have to look at the contracts closer, but, on this football team, 3 of the highest paid dudes are in the secondary: Gardner, Ward, and then Cam Bynum at safety. So I do think that's a critical piece, because I have more questions about the pass rush, honestly, than the secondary.
Hey, Kev, you know what's funny about this entire thing? They're going down this particular path of belief in success because they're forced down it, not because I think it's something that they truly believe in or wanted to do.
Say that again.
They're forced down this defensive path in what they believe in right now, not because it's what they believed in or how they set out with this, but because this is just kind of where it is right now. This is kind of worked out. So you have to believe that the secondary, because this is very unconventional for defensive success in the NFL to me. That's why I ask you the question. Very unconventional being, or supposedly counting on, relying upon the secondary so much more than you are the pressure up front. And I don't know how often you actually see that become a significant and or consistent winner. And again, it's a path or a journey in which I don't think organizationally they set out upon or they really wanted to do. They were just kind of forced down this path, and that's where they are. Thus, they're forced to believe in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I will say, I don't think this is Chris Ballard's, MO by any means. He wants to be better up front. He's tried to be better up front. I mean, not to rehash old drafts, but I bet if we went through all the Ballard drafts, you'd find defensive linemen taken early probably more than you would guys in the secondary. Even if you look at it for this year, you are going to be relying on Latu, obviously, first-round pick from a couple of years ago. And then I think Arden T might be a name we also should talk about a little bit more, maybe a defensive end being a starter, which might surprise some people. But if not, then it's Jalen Tuimoloau, and he was a second-round pick last year. So, again, they've drafted a lot up there. And again, we're not even getting into the Kwity Payes and the Dio Dengbos and, going back to the Terrell Bashams and the Kamoko Turis and the Ben Banagus of the world, Tyquan Lewis's, all of them. I mean, these are all first, second, third round picks. So I don't think it's by, desire, but I do think, I guess kind of how the roster has evolved. And obviously the Sauce Gardner trade and then the Mooney Ward big contract, I think that has definitely played into it, because there was a clear focus for the secondary 2 off seasons ago. And that was give Bynum the money they gave him and then give Ward the money that they gave him as well.
We have a medical update right here from Dr. Feelgood, Bart Digler, if you're ready for it. Holding your pee for extended periods can indeed lead to various health issues, including, Kev, kidney stones, of which I've had.
Oh, man.
I have had when I was 15 years old.
Were you holding your pee back in high school?
No, I was drinking too much Big Red, I think. But I famously passed one at the half when I was a sophomore of a basketball game in January against Shakamak. And I'm at the urinal and I had to, but nothing was coming out, and then all of a sudden something shot out of there like it was like an 1800s musket. And when that happens when you're 15, that's a scarring event. And my coach told me it's because, quote, I was so out of shape. I, on the other hand, felt I may have had an STD, yet I had not had sex yet. So I don't know where we were there. I was all confused. But I did go out and score 11 second-half points after passing a kidney stone, and how that is not inducted in the High School Basketball Hall of Fame of the state of Indiana is beyond me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds like, the Steve Alford Inn in Newcastle needs to start to rethink maybe what are their some of their wings in their Hall of Fame there. Yeah, I guess back in the day, you had Paul Revere famously saying the Redcoats are coming, and you were saying the Big Red's coming, Red's coming.
The musket. I look like Uncle Jed when he rolled up and he thought he was shooting at some food and he discovered oil on his property. That's what I did right there with that. That's the type of gun I was shooting.
To get back to that, you think if I break the seal too early, it leads to more flowing?
There's no question. I don't know, again, medically, if that has been proven, but with my body and the way that it has been structured for a number of years as a very experienced drinker, and especially now with the low-calorie kind of yellow water thing, which I'm fine with, and you do it a little bit more excessively because you got a different path you're taking right now, that, I do believe that the earlier you go, the more often you end up going.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate all the doctors reaching out here, and you and I certainly need all the education we can get here.
We do, buddy.
It looks like I just got to be the one that, heads to the old John more than others.
Yeah, I had kidney stones. I shot one out, and then they had to go in and slice me open, and I had like a gravel pit, like where Fred Flintstone worked at the quarry, at the gravel. I had a gravel pit in there. And the other one was already like trying to make its way out, and they had to get the tiniest instruments in the world and go down the well to get it. Yeah, you think those instruments are tiny in the game operation? Yeah, you should see these. I only know how they saw them, like the tiniest instruments in the world. We've got to go get this, guys. Let's go get it. So, yeah.
Gosh.
No wonder I'm scarred for life from that experience.
The vivid imagery right now, boy, is not what I thought I'd be having Wednesday at 4:19 talking to you, but nonetheless, here we are.
God have explained it, too. Hey, curious. Tyrese Halliburton. In these videos, and I know they're videos, and they're put out there by the Pacers, and that's great, and, it's from a Pacer angle, but how does he look to you? Yeah, I'm trying to grasp anything for the next 2 years especially, and getting back to winning and him playing again. I think he looks really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the videos from today. I've been at Colts here, but I do need to watch those. I think one thing I've always appreciated about him is whenever he does talk, he is super, I feel like he's super honest and candid about, where he's at physically, even where he's been at mentally, if you want to go back. And, I remember listening to him on Maxie a couple weeks ago, and I thought he's pretty honest. Like, offensively, he feels just fine, but it's defensively, which, when you get in the uncontrolled movements, and this is probably the same thing for Daniel Jones right now. Like, I watched Daniel Jones move today, and he moved fine, but everything was Daniel Jones dictating, knowing exactly where he was going to go. It's what happens in Tyrese's case, certainly defensively, but in Daniel's case, it'll be when a pass rush gets to you, how do you then react to those movements, and particularly laterally? Like Daniel Jones did sprints after practice up and down the field. Now, again, that's straight line, and he knows exactly where he's running, but, if you asked him to do, lateral movement here, what would that look like? And again, Tyrese, I think, has been pretty honest. Like, sometimes when I play these interns, they're like driving by me right now. And the good thing for Tyrese is he's got 5 more months, and his Achilles was, it's going to be about 16 months when it's all said and done, whereas Daniel's trying to do it in 9 or 10 there. So, I think for me with him, it's more of just the uncontrolled movements, and really it probably goes with both of those guys.
Kev, you can't have the interns driving by you. Those guys aren't any good.
No, not at all. Yeah. That's probably not the most. Yeah.
I tell Chad Buchanan that all the time. I go, man, what are these interns you guys got playing against Halliburton? These guys aren't any good.
I'm just picturing you out there. Siakam's brother, I feel like, is one of them that has played against them. He played at IUPUI back in the day. Christian Siakam. He was on some of those good Ron Hunter teams back in the day.
I could have played at IUPUI in a half a second. You know that to be true. I will. I think Pargo plays sometimes too, right? Does Pargo
I
play?
have seen Pargo.
Because
Yeah,
that's the one that I wanted
yeah.
to play, and Buchanan says you don't want any of that. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's like me thinking I could walk out there and, I play one good round of golf every year, and I'm like, oh, I could easily play with those guys. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, dude, come play these courses from these tees, and you're going to lose by 15 shots.
Kev, man, you walk like a man, you walk like a dude. That's what you do. And if you take an ass whipping, you take an ass whipping. All right? That's the way that it is. But before that time, you walk in there like you've been there and done that before. You know that to be true. That's how you guys, I've been telling it to James, that's how you approach every morning. I mean, walk in there like you're here. You know what I mean? You walk like a dude, and that's what you do. And you may take an ass beating, like I do all the time, but I'm gonna walk in there like I know what I'm doing. I don't care who it is.
Well, that's what I told myself before the first beer on Sunday, and lo and behold, I was the first one going to the porta potty.
Well, luckily, I'm a lead in that capacity, so that's good. So somebody's telling me, hey, if you liquor before beer, you're in the clear, 0 carbs, get there. Listen, I'm very experienced in this, and I do understand that. But when I'm going beer, it's going to take a higher excess of that to get to where I'm going. So is what I'm saying here. Yeah, I'm well versed. And if I wanted to get there quicker, I'd definitely know what route to take. Right, Kev?
Liquor before beer, never been sicker?
No, it's beer before liquor, never been sicker. Yes.
Beer before okay.
And it's Boone's Farm for the girls. She's going on your bed and hurls. Is that what it is?
It's the most Green County thing you've ever said to me.
Boone's Farm for the girls means she goes to your bed and hurls. You have never heard of that one? Oh, so true right there.
I feel like the only two I've heard is
man. Kev, girl, I've never seen.
I'm butchering it.
Yeah, I just made that up, actually.
Liquor before beer, never been sicker. Beer before liquor, you're in the clear.
No,
I say it out loud.
it is.
I'm saying it the wrong way.
Yeah, liquor for beer before liquor, never been sicker. Boone's Farm for the girls. On the bed, she hurls. And I just made that one up, but I've never seen and I mean, like Jasper and Bedford girls could drink now, let me tell you. They're no slouch in the drinking category, but you put Boone's Farm, the moment they say, yeah, can I drink half that bottle of Strawberry Hill? And they say, I don't feel anything. It tastes like Kool-Aid. 5 minutes later, you're getting the shot back out on your bed. True story.
Oh, my gosh. This has been one hell of a Wednesday combo. I think we've covered it all.
That's what happens when the Pacers aren't in the postseason, brother. This is it. This is the world in which we live.
Yeah, we were talking.
Yeah,
we were talking USA soccer and U.S. men's tennis earlier today.
I brought you in with the Canadians and the Canes. That probably drove everybody out. All right.
So
go ahead.
You got eyes on me on Sunday saying that I had too many to drink?
No, I made that up too.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to see where you would take it.
Actually, on this race, I was one of my more well-behaved races in a while.
No, I just wanted to see where we could take that. I made that up too. So it's well done. Your response is great, though. I appreciate it. Hey, my best to the fam, man. You and James get it done tomorrow morning as you normally do. Thanks, pal.
Always enjoy it, John. Thank you.
Kevin Bowen, Fan Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m. Here and James Boyd right here. Quick break. Kevin Smith, actor, comedian, director, writer, all the above in town this weekend. He joins us next. The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield for your home, virtually any color imaginable. A 25-year warranty. Never ever paint your house again. Seriously, go with Rhino Shield today. 888 Rhino 41. Mention my name. Say JMV sent me 15% off the regular price, and you get that guarantee as well. Never paint your house again. The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield. 888 Rhino 41, mention that I sent you 15% off the regular price. Residential and commercial, don't paint, no vinyl, go Rhino and never paint your house again. Rhino Shield. Hey, John here for Premier Deck Coating, 317-696-4071. Outdoor living space, so important to you. For you, the family, your friends throwing a party, or just for the neighborhood look and the virtual appeal that you see every time you pass your property. That's what you're going to get with Premier Deck Coating. It is fantastic. Repelling moisture, scratch resistant, offered in virtually any color. Give Ron a call right now and get that free quote. 317-696-4071. 317-696-4071. Ask for Ron and do that today. PremierDeckCoating.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Now you listen here. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Now go away.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
God, Roxy Music on the inbound right here. You giving it to me, huh? Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Roxy Music.
Oh, yeah.
God, I love this song. Leave it here for a second. JMV Takeover, by the way, since we're rolling music right here, coming up on Saturday night, the All Request Saturday night with me back in studio. I needed to give a shout out because we had some people that evidently could not find the live show on Saturday. And I mean, find it out there on Georgetown Road in our Braun's Fun Time camper. Shout out to Austin Braun again. Jenny Goins. Anybody know Jenny Goins? Jenny Goins and a couple of her friends could not locate us on Georgetown, which I kind of wonder why, because we were right there in Lot 6A on Georgetown. But a year ago, when we were in the Coke lot, Jenny made a massive amount of espresso martinis, and those went incredibly fast, as you would expect them to do. Made some more and couldn't find us, could not locate the Bronze Fun Time camper. So tell if you know Jenny Goins out there and family that Jenny owes us a batch of espresso martinis. I don't make the rules here. I'll set the pace, but I don't make the rules. Just so you know. But no, Jenny, last year in the Coke lot when we were there, absolutely awesome. So hopefully one of these days the espresso martinis will roll up to wherever we are. Justin Walley, the redshirt rookie of the Colts, coming up at the top of the hour. I saw this. I mentioned the Cubs are losers of 10 straight. I can't really say that enough, and I'm just getting me a little payback right here, guys. I need a little payback. Coming to DVD and Blu-ray. Have you guys seen this? I'm assuming you probably have in social media. How to lose the division in 10 games. Now, the Reds did a hell of a job of this going back to early May. And the Cubs have even furthered it. So this goes back to Pete Crow Armstrong and his dialogue to a female White Sox fan, if you remember. And it was some raunchy dialogue right there, it was. Since that point in time, it has been nothing but losing. And if you watched last night, it was extremely hilarious as the Cubs, in their 10th straight loss, got absolutely depantsed by the Pirates. 12-1 was the final. That was a beautiful thing. But how to lose the division in 10 games with Pete Crow Armstrong and the White Sox girl. It's excellent work by whomever did that. Justin Walley, the Colts, coming up at the top of the hour. Greg Rakestraw tomorrow. His location I'll explain coming up in just a second. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he's been a part of this show before. He is at Helium Comedy Club this weekend. He is actor. He is filmmaker. He is writer. He is comedian. He is Kevin Smith joining us now. Hey, Kevin, thank you for the time today. How are you, pal?
So happy to be here. Thanks for having. This is the second weekend I'm going to be in Indiana, man. I was not last weekend, but the other weekend before that, I was in Fort Wayne. This weekend, I'm in Indianapolis. If I spend one more weekend in the great state of Indiana, I get a set of steak knives.
Well, and you become a Hoosier. We're going to make you,
That's
we're going to
right.
grant you a Hoosier background. I know you're originally from New Jersey, but you got to shake that loose and become a Hoosier.
They gave me a doctorate once, an honorary doctorate, so that'll make me a Dr. Hoosier. Right there.
Indeed it does. I just read, and I think I only hit like half of your resume in entertainment. But where does being on stage and doing the comedic stuff, being a comedian, where does that rank for you in terms of what you love doing in the world of entertainment?
That one's honestly the most gratifying because feedback is instantaneous. When you have an idea for a screenplay, it's sometimes years before you could see the reaction to the idea that you had. Let's say you got a joke in a script. And you're like, oh, man, I hope nobody else does that joke between time I wrote it and the time I make the movie. It takes a long time to pull together money and a cast and locations and stuff. Meanwhile, I could jump up on a stage, say something funny, get the instant feedback on it from the audience and move on with my life. So it always feels better being up on that stage. And it was something I never intended when I made Clerks 32 years ago. I was never thinking about, oh, I want to be a comedian as well. It just kind of came with the territory because when you go out on the film festival circuit with your films, when the movie's done, they push you out on stage and be like, go explain yourself. And so because I was always out there, I was cracking wise. I wasn't trying to speak knowledgeably or, with erudition about filmmaking. I'd only ever made one movie at that point. So I just told funny stories about how he got the cat to poop on cue and stuff like that. And so it led to me going to comedy clubs. For years I did college Q&As, and then I graduated to Carnegie Hall, sold that out, and then ever since then it's been theaters and comedy clubs across the country. So it's nice. It's nothing I ever intended or hoped for or dreamed about. At least with the filmmaking thing, I was kind of aiming for that. But the stand-up thing has just kind of been a bonus career that came along with it that I absolutely love. And at a time like this, when like Hollywood's not making any movies or anything, my business is dying, I could still pivot and go jump on a stage and tell stories about making movies.
Yeah, it's Kevin Smith is in town this weekend. The honorary Hoosier joins us. You look back at Clerks, it came out in 94. This is kind of a two-parter, but I'll start right here and play off of what you just said. How dramatically different is the Hollywood scene in movie making now compared to the way that it was then and when you were getting started in your career?
Well, the good news for me is I've always been kind of indie. I started outside the industry, so the fortunes of the industry have never affected my own personal fortunes because I tend to pull together financing for my movies independently. So I've been adjacent to the business now for 32 years, and periodically I dip my foot in the pool on the other side of the fence, so to speak. But generally speaking, the vagaries of the industry haven't affected me that much. So I've watched, people walk away with fat deals to make multiple movies, and those times seem to be gone. Overall deals where they would give you a bunch of money, set up your shingle at a studio, just make movies exclusively for them, seems to also be a thing of the past. And then film production in general lately seems to be a thing of the past. One of the only studios kind of continuously putting out TV shows and movies, obviously, is Netflix because they got all the loot and stuff. But that business came in and kind of ruined the studio business that everyone had been used to for nearly 100 years. So it's weird to, out here in Los Angeles, the below-the-line people are the ones that are suffering the most. Most directors, like myself included, usually skip the state you live in to go shoot someplace else, someplace cheaper. But out here, where the studios and networks make their stuff, there's an entire crew base that is now hungry, starving because there's no work out here at all. It's pretty scary times. My friend referred to it the other day to Hollywood as New Detroit, and that made me kind of sad because I was like, you're right. Well, our industry died as well.
It's Kevin Smith who's going to be in town in Indy coming up here this weekend. He joins us, the Ride with JMV on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And I want to get to Clerks in a minute, but you mentioned you're being an independent filmmaker. Once Clerks hit it and hit it big, clearly, with the younger generational dynamic in the 1990s, it was such a big damn deal. Did the industry try to change you from your independent ways?
Nah, I mean, there was at one point for about 3 movies. The first 3 movies, I had my own DP, cinematographer, a guy named Dave Klein, guy that would shoot the movies. I'm a director. He's the guy that, is responsible for the camera stuff, the director of photography. So we made Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy. And when we went to make Dogma, they said, no, we're going to stick you with a grown-up DP because you got to grow as a filmmaker. And they did that for 3 films, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then Jersey Girl. With Jersey Girl, they gave me Vilmos Sigmund, who had won an Academy Award for shooting Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So the logic was he will become a better filmmaker. But all that happened was I made those 3 DPs worse at their job. I brought them down to my level. I never rose to theirs. And so eventually they let me work with my boy Dave Klein again. And that was on Clerks 2, and then we did Clerks 2, Zach and Miri Make a Porno, Cop Out together, Red State. And now he's the guy that just shot The Mandalorian and Grogu, #1 movie in America. Same guy that they were like, you can't work with him, he ain't good enough. Is a guy that just shot the #1 movie in America. It took him 33 years to get to that glow-up, but what an amazing glow-up it is. So, the Coen brothers, I always loved their style because they got into the business and they do the Coen brothers. Yeah. And in the beginning, the studios were like, oh, one day they'll change. They'll get close, they'll have to eventually changed to accommodate the studios. That's not what happened. Eventually, the studios started gravitating toward them and their way of work. So the Coen brothers never had to change. The studios changed, and now they work more like the Coen brothers. Storytellers like the Coen brothers. So I've always taken heart from that sort of thing, and never really altered myself too much. You know, I came in as an outsider, and hopefully I'll go out the same way.
You know, it's funny too, Kevin. You mentioned getting that instant gratification on stage. There has to be something to being able to continue to do things the way that you want to do when others would like to take that away or adjust what you're doing. That's kind of your sweep the leg. It's kind of like being on stage. I mean, you're looking for that sweep the leg moment and that instant gratification. And that's what you've had over the course of your career, just in general terms of not having to adhere to what everybody else wants you to in terms of what you enjoy in your filmmaking process.
So true. Kids, if you're out there listening, take a lesson from it. Like, as they say on the internet, or used to about 20 years ago, you do you, because that's it. That's the only possible path to success. If you're going to imitate somebody else or do what's been done before, maybe there's a chance that somebody will want a little more of what they've already had, but your best chance of breaking through is by being original. And what's more original than you? I always tell young storytellers, and I don't just mean film school kids. I mean like people my age who like always dreamed about it and just haven't done it yet and stuff. But I always tell them, like, at the end of the day, like, die on the cross of originality. They've never heard your story. They've heard my story like 16 times. I've made the same movie over and over again, so they know who I am and what I have to say. What they don't know is who you are, and they've never heard what you have to say, and you're who they dream about. They don't dream about me because they know what they're going to get with me. They dream about the person who's going to walk through their doors and tell them the thing they never heard before. So keep that voice, whatever it is, at all costs, because that's you. The essence of you is ultimately what's going to sell you as an artist. Never mind, like, being able to make a billion-dollar movie. No, that's like once in a blue moon and stuff. To work consistently, just make sure you stick close to who you are. That's the flavor that's going to put you a kind of outside of everyone else. Otherwise, what's the difference between you and every other artist in the world? It's your voice, and your voice is your currency, so spend it accordingly.
Kevin, they're attracted to your originality and you in the first place. So, why change that up?
Exactly. It seems to be the way of the world, though. Like, they'll bring in the most original filmmakers or, any field, and then hammer out that originality to conform to the system. But as the system is now almost completely broken, guess what? There are no more rules. So, kids, make sure you express yourself. Say something that's never been said before, because that's the thing you've never said. That's the reason it's never been said before, and only you can say it. You bring that to the table, you'll be just great.
Kevin Smith is giving us the 1985 New Coke rule right here.
Yes. We lived through it, so we understand.
Yes, we did. Hey, do you ever get tired of people asking you about Clerks?
Never. Are you kidding me? You know what it reminds me of? A long time ago, a friend of mine went out with Tracy Chapman, the singer of Fast Car. It was a very popular song when I was a kid, and remains so to this day. It was covered recently by a country western star, I believe. So I asked my friend, I said, you got to ask her, meaning Tracy Chapman, how much she must hate that Fast Car song by now. And my friend said, I asked her, and I said, what did she say? And she said that Tracy Chapman was like, I love Fast Car. I love singing it each and every time I sing it, because that's the song that brought me to the world. Everything I have because I sang that song. So every time I sing it full-throated. I'm never bored by that song because it was my ticket to the world. And that's how I feel about Clerks. People can ask me questions about that from now until the time I'm in the grave. And I'm sure on my grave it'll say, here lies the guy who made Clerks. And that's totally cool, man. It was my little magic trick, man. It's like me pulling a quarter from behind your ear. And you're like, hey, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, just a little trick. It's lasted this long, over 30 years. People are still talking about the thing, so I'm more than happy to oblige them. And I've never been one of those cats like, Nimoy back in the day, Leonard Nimoy. He wrote a book, I Am Not Spock. And then like 20 years later, he wrote another book, I Am Spock. I've never gone through that where I'm like, I'm not Silent Bob. That's just one of my names, man. If you know me as Silent Bob, great. If you know me as Kevin Smith, great. If you know me as, I saw you on Degrassi once, great. Don't matter. Like, if knowing me, that's the important part. And I've been out there for 30 years trying to get to know people and hopefully give people the opportunity to know me. So far, so good.
You are the honorary Hoosier, Kevin Smith with us. And before I close with you, we had to do the same thing with John Mellencamp here in the Hoosier State. John Mellencamp got sick and tired of playing all of his signature songs that everybody loves, and now he's doing a tour, and he's here in Indy coming up this summer playing nothing but his catalog of signature songs. Why? Because everybody loves it, and you have to embrace that. You're absolutely right.
100%. And also, you know, and he knows just like any other artist, man, that like music, way more so than any other of the mediums, like that's a direct conduit to youth gone by, man. And it's a time machine. You listen to music, it's like smelling things. You know, odors are a time machine. Will bring you right back to your childhood. You smell something specific, and music will do that too. So every time he rips Lil Ditty about Jack and Diane, there's a bunch of old heads like me in the audience who for like 4 golden minutes feel like we're teenagers again and remember all those wonderful times when we were in such a hurry to get to where we are now. All we wanted to do was grow up, and now that we're here, all we want to do is revert and go back.
Exactly. That is so true. Kevin Smith with us this weekend, the honorary Hoosier at Helium Comedy Club here downtown. When do you start this weekend? Is that a Thursday or a Friday start, Kevin?
I start on Friday. I got a 7 o'clock show and a 9:15, and then Saturday night I got a 7 and a 9:30. Just a Friday and Saturday I'm going to be there.
You're a great dude, pal. I appreciate you dropping on the show today.
It's a pleasure, man. Thanks for having. And if you got nothing to do this weekend, I know at the end of the week you're like, look, last thing I want to do is go watch somebody else talk. But come on down to Helium, man. I'll save you some seats.
Well, yeah, we'll go find something to do afterwards too. How about that?
Done and done. Maybe you can find some marijuana for me in that state of yours. I hear they don't have any.
well, I believe, I don't know how difficult that would be, to be quite honest.
Damn near impossible the way I understand it.
It's all good, man. I can't wait. It's a pleasure. Thanks, Kevin.
I'll see you later on. Thanks so much.
Kevin Smith I'm way over, but that was way too damn good not to be way over. Helium Comedy Club this weekend. That was a James Adams special. Well done with Kevin Smith. Quick break, we'll come back. Justin Walley, top of the hour. Colts, redshirt rookie, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. John here with a great idea that is Big Red Liquors. You've got 100-plus locations, state of Indiana, one near you, 19 new here in the Indianapolis area. And it powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night on B105.7. How about Riders Tears Irish Whiskey, $24.99. Have you had that? $5 in savings off of Twisted Tea 12-packs. Budweiser Vintage Packs, you're going to save a couple of bucks on that as well. And great deals going on with the biggest sale ever. Scotch, Irish, tequila deals, all half off. You got to check that out at Big Red Liquors, the 100-plus location. State of Indiana, 19 new here in the Indy area and one near you. And every Saturday night, it powers the JMV Takeover, 6 until midnight on B105.7. To find the location nearest you, it's BigRedLiquors.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Well, we're waiting.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kevin Smith, awesome podcast, 1075thefan.com. JMV, did he just ask you to find him some weed? I think he did. Brian says, Dimebag DJ. Elvis says, the interview with Kevin Smith is freaking amazing. It's truly inspiring for anyone that once was an artist or still thinks they could be. Nah, he was really good. Kevin Smith is going to be at Helium Comedy Club. If you happen to make one of his shows this weekend here downtown, make sure you tell him that you heard him on this show. Nah, that's cool as hell. Really is. Pacer prospect workouts are in place. We got some local flavor there. We'll get to that coming up, or certainly some notables. We'll get to that coming up on the other side. And Justin Walley, the Colts defensive back, will join us as well. Again, Kevin Smith, conversation, if you missed any of it, the podcast at 1075thefan.com. Helium Comedy Club this weekend will be can't miss. That is a cool dude right there with an amazing amount of stories. Don't go anywhere. Colts DB, Justin Walley on the other side. Pacer workouts as well coming up. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. It's BullseyeEventGroup.com and the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Log on and find out the game that you want on this 2026 Colts schedule. And just for example, if you don't find just one, if it's multi, make sure you combo that up with a Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. It is the premier pregame party before every Colts game. That is how you're going to know your game day experience is made with BullseyeEventGroup.com. So log on, find out what games you would like to attend. Maybe it's all of them, but no, you can get your tickets and combo that up and save money with BullseyeEventGroup.com for that Colts VIP tailgate. Do that now, BullseyeEventGroup.com. Hey, it's WeGrowHairIndy.com, 317-522-2995. Do you want your real growing hair again? 9 years I've been with Darren Andrews and WeGrowHairIndy.com. It works fantastically all the way through multi-unit hair grafting, artist robotic FUE, to the boosters that they provide to continue the real hair growth. There is one number to call, 317-522-2995. Tell Darren Andrews that I sent you today. WeGrowHairIndy.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kevin Bowen, Kevin Smith. Two drastically different human beings joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. Yeah, Kevin Smith asking me for weed was great. We need more of that on this show, I think. Justin Walley's going to join us coming up in a couple of minutes. My good friend Mark Sonneban, who I saw both he and his wife Sarah at IMS this past Sunday, says he's a Minnesota Golden Gophers fan. He loves Justin Walley. Total ball magnet, row the boat. I knew you were going to go with the whole row the boat thing. He's going to join us, if you remember, the third-round selection in 2025. Torres ACL was done for the season. That was early August of last summer. And he has been working consistently to get back. He is all clear. And we talked to Kevin Bowen a little bit earlier. He was out on the practice field with the Colts during OTAs today. And there is more than just speculation that he will end up taking over for Kenny Moore II in the slot. Now, we'll talk about what he feels he's better at on the outside or in the slot. He has done them both. And as Mark mentioned, he is a ball hawk. Now, we'll talk to Justin coming up here in a couple of minutes. I did want to remind you of this. So, G's got an appointment, doctor style, tomorrow morning. I'm going to go. Greg Rakestraw is doing the show tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, Greg will be holed up at Buffalo Wild Wings in Speedway. That is right off of Crawfordsville Road with Michelob Ultra. This is kind of a World Cup winning experience opportunity for you. With Greg Rakestraw tomorrow at the Buffalo Wild Wings location in Speedway on Crawfordsville Road. And Greg's got you from 3 until 6. Yeah, go out there and soak it up for a hell of a time. Buffalo Wild Wings in Speedway, Crawfordsville Road. Greg Rakestraw, Michelob Ultra, our friends from Zinc. Should be a blast coming up tomorrow. Definitely got to check it out. Kevin Bowen a little bit earlier. Kevin Smith is going to be this weekend doing his comedy down at Helium Comedy Club. I think he said Friday and Saturday. Downtown Clerks and Mall Rats. Just a variety of things as a filmmaker. Kevin Smith, fantastic a moment ago. If you missed any of it, that podcast is at 1075thefan.com. Skivvies writes this: awesome to have Kevin Smith on. He is great live. The stories are endless and awesome. We've seen him a few times way back when he was at the Hilbert Circle Theater downtown. Went until 3 in the morning. He had mentioned he was in Fort Wayne week before last and here downtown and in Indy coming up this weekend. So that's coming at you. And he was fantastic. BT writes this: hey, JMV, wait a minute. I was told that this is great basketball. 32 points, half from the free throw line. The missed goaltend, ignored a review. They gave the coach a T. I love basketball. The flopping and the twitching and the ridiculousness, it wears me out. And it's more than just a complaint about a team that you don't like. I couldn't really care less about OKC or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I recognize him to be a great player. I also recognize you can still be a great player without the antics, or as we have coined the term, shenanigans. You don't need the shenanigans. That is incredibly true. Terry Jones chimes in with this: not only does he fall every time you get close to him, but he pushes off every time he falls. JMV, it was good seeing you this past weekend. Hope you got all that sleep after getting an hour on Saturday night. I will say this, Daddy. I am not fully back. I can sleep for about maybe 6.5, maybe at times 7 hours. But past that, I can't really do it. So I'm still trying to make up that deficit of sleep over the weekend, but it was worthy. It was absolutely worth it. Great seeing you, pal. And Greg mentioned, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, the Stanley Cup final, that will be on ABC and ESPN. And they've got a long wait. Got a long wait for both here. Because you had and keep in mind, in the Stanley Cup, they have the Western Conference. It was Vegas in a sweep over Colorado. And they had the Eastern Conference, and it was the Knicks sweep over Cleveland. Meantime, in the NHL in the East, the Canadiens and the Hurricanes are still playing Game 4s later on tonight in Montreal. And, of course, you got San Antonio and OKC still going too. So they're going to do, without live action playoff sports, they're going to go a little bit of a ways here, ESPN and ABC. All right, meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now, he was a third-round selection in 2025, and his season, unfortunately, was cut loose before he was able to get it started. Early August, a torn ACL. He's coming back from that, from the Colts secondary. Justin Walley joins us again on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Justin, thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed.
Back and better than ever? Is that how you're feeling right now?
Yes, sir. You can say exactly that.
So where are you in terms of rehab and being back? Would you call yourself completely back at this point?
Yes, sir. I'm been fully cleared for around 3 weeks now. So now I'm back in all activities. I'm full go.
All right. This has been a long process, and I want to go through. You don't have to relive every single step of it, but I want to go through a little bit of it with you because for a young dude like that, you're having so much success late last summer in Colts camp, and then all of a sudden in early August, the ACL injury, it occurs. What's been the most difficult part of this process? Has it been the physical, the rehab and coming back, or the mental, just not being able to be a part of something that has been your life so far?
Yeah, I know the first couple of weeks, it was the mental aspect of it, because I've never really missed any time in my life and really never had a significant injury. So just the challenges of knowing I'm going to miss a whole season, that was mentally hard. Well, up until I started doing rehab for the first few weeks, and then the physical part came in. I kind of knew that was a little bit harder.
No, it kind of gets you on both ends right there too. That's what's so tough. And I mentioned the process, and I think that term's overused, but in this case, it's absolutely accurate because this whole thing, it is a lengthy process altogether, is it not?
Yes, sir, it is. Back when you're in month 1 and month 2, you kind of look to the future and be like, man, I don't know if I ever play again. You stay with it though; it eventually comes back.
Now, you had really no familiarity going all the way back in your playing career with injury. What was the shock of having that occur going back to early August last summer?
It was really just a mental block because, like I said, I just never been hurt, and I never really dealt with any type of significant rehab. So it was just a whole new world for me. But luckily, we have great trainers here. I got great people around me to help me through it.
He is Justin Walley of the Colts. The third rounder in 2025 is going to be leaned upon a great deal in that secondary. And we'll get to some of what you believed your responsibilities in your first year in the NFL is going to be in just a second. But I am curious about this. You talk about the mental and the physical aspect. How difficult is it for a go-getter like you that was having that success, who's never been injured? How difficult is it for you to remain patient? Because during rehab processes like this, the patience is what is preached, but that's easier said than done for the person that is rehabbing. How difficult was that for you?
Yeah, it was extremely difficult. Especially the first month when you come here, you do the same exact exercises every single day, and it get really monotonous. But over time, it made me realize how much patience I need to have and how much I need to just go one day at a time with it, and that really helped me out a lot.
Do you believe that to be a learning experience for now getting on the field and playing in that initial season? Did you learn a lot from not playing a year ago?
Yes, I learned a tremendous amount just because we kind of joke around and say I'm a red shirt rookie this year, where I got a chance to experience the sidelines, experience the games, know what the atmosphere is like. I was taking a step back and learning the playbook. So now when I get back into it this year, I feel like I'll be more prepared.
He has Justin Walley, the Colts, with us. Does anything jump off the page? Like something you noticed, something you really observed, and you took that to heart when you set out and you rehabbed a year ago that you saw from the sideline and you said, yeah, you know what? That's something I can really put to good use in, as you mentioned, your redshirt season coming up this year.
Yeah, really just being around the play calls on the sideline, getting the feel for Coach Lou, how he calls the game, what calls he like in certain situations. So now when I'm out there, I'm not just playing, I'm being more situational aware. And so it's just things like that really, I think, will help me out next year.
Justin, you mentioned the monotony of this entire process, and that is exactly what it's about. What'd you do to keep your mind right, just outside of the whole learning aspect or concentrating on your craft when you're not able to play? Was there anything you did during the monotony of this that you thought helped you out just beyond the learning of the game itself from the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, like off the field, I started doing a lot of meditation, started a lot of mind work. So outside of the facility, and I have great people around me I'm not all about football. They help me take my mind off things, help me stay in the moment.
Justin, you're talking to a dude right here that needs some serious mind work done. Could you pass along a little advice, a little inspiration for a guy like me that may do need some meditation and some mind work? What helped you the most out of that? And was that something that you practiced prior to the injury?
Well, prior to, I didn't really do it too much, but I had so much free time that I decided to give it a shot. But main thing is just breath work, breathing, being where your feet are, not just going with just overdoing it too much. You're really just calming down, being on my feet are.
Who taught you that?
Also, we have a therapist here, and she does really good work, and she really helped me out a lot.
That's awesome. Justin Walley joins us. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You mentioned Coach Lou Anarumo, your defensive coordinator. What does he and what do they, your other coaches, expect from you coming up this season?
Yeah, that's the only thing. Expectation really changed. Come out there and be the guy they know I can be. A very detailed guy. I'm going to play my butt off, and I'm going to go out there and have fun, break some energy.
I'm curious because, Kenny Moore is now gone. He's been here for a while, and you've been a guy that you played on the outside, you played in the slot. You're just really good at covering. It's almost like, hey, go get that dude, and you go get that dude defensively. Really a basketball term in this case here, too. Is that how you're going to be utilized, or do you feel like you're going to slide into what has been vacated by Kenny Moore in your first season here?
Well, right now, we're just getting back into it. We just getting started, but right now I'm playing both inside and outside still. I think emphasizing inside a little bit more this year, but wherever they put me at, I'm ready to go.
Where do you feel most comfortable? Is there a spot? And I know you may not want to say because you don't want anybody to hear and go, "Oh, he feels more comfortable here." But where do you think? Let me try to rephrase this so it makes sense. Where do you think that you are best suited with your playmaking ability? How do you see yourself?
Well, it's kind of crazy because in my college career, I played outside the whole time, so I became really comfortable at outside. But when I got here, I started playing inside, and I kind of see how my skill set fit inside also very well. So I guess I'm used to outside a little bit more, but I think inside a little bit more fun.
For fans out there, what exactly, at least to you, is the difference between how you play outside and how you play inside? And why do you think you're so good at doing the combination, doing both in this case, Justin?
Yeah, so, outside it's just strictly covering. But inside it's a little bit more tackling, a little bit more in the box. And I think I match up well with inside receivers. And I have the coverage skills to go out with anybody on the outside. So I think I'm best at both of them.
It has been told to me, speed and physicality is what you bring to the table. And, really fortunate. You got some dudes in that secondary that also have that. Sauce Gardner has that. Mooney has that as well. You lean on those guys for advice because, really, you'd like to take bits and pieces of all these dudes and put that to good use for you going into this season. But what do you take from them advice-wise?
I'm extremely blessed to have two guys in the room that's been starters for, 6+ years, both of them. And a lot of different techniques, small things, but also just the mental aspect of the game. Especially Mooney, he, trying to say without getting too in the weeds, but he makes sure I'm, being on my feet, or like I said, understanding the whole scheme of the defense and not just doing what my position is supposed to do, but just the understanding of the game is where both of those guys really helped me out a lot.
All right, I kind of, and Justin Walley's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. A couple more things, and I'll let you cut loose right here. So that first big play that you make, and here's hoping that it's a turnover, a significant time in a game, whatever. Are you going to do a little celebration? You're going to go Cam Bynum on us right here? How do you foresee yourself when you make that first big play?
I'm gonna definitely celebrate. I don't think I'm the celebrator like Cam is. You know, he's one of a kind. I'll make sure I have some fun out there.
Yeah, now with his celebrations, because there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of thought process going into it right here. Does that kind of, you guys don't think about it or don't do it because Cam has already kind of done it and you want to be original with what you do when you're making a big play? Is that kind of what the thought is in that secondary with guys?
You know, everybody really plays their own person, but a lot of the times if there's a group thing we want to do, you know, Cam is very creative. So if it's a celebration that you think you like, bring it up with Cam. Cam will help you out with it. You know, he's real creative.
You got the whole back thing he did last year. That was some stuff. I like. There's not too many dudes I don't think can even do that, much less attempt it in front of like 65,000 people. That was nuts.
Yeah, when I seen it, I was like, "What is that?" But it looked kind of cool, so I had to go with it.
Again, Justin Walley joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you have, in closing here, you got something in mind, though? Like anything? Have you thought about it at all, or you just got so much going on that it has not been something that's crossed your mind?
Well, no, I just kind of focused on just getting back on the field first.
Yeah.
I think once I start getting back a little, getting back comfortable, I think that's when we start to, start coming up with some celebrations.
You played at Minnesota. You played at the Big Ten. And I'd have to ask because we're obviously in Indiana, and you watched what Indiana did with the national championship. Was that shocking to you? I wanted to get somebody, because around here it was like, you got to be kidding me, because they used to be a doormat and a laughingstock, and they win the national championship. As an outsider who now lives here that played in the Big Ten, how did you feel when you watched IU football win a national championship?
Well, I could talk to a couple guys from back in Minnesota, and a couple coaches, and ask like, were they the real deal back when this was back before they won the championship? And all the coaches said it was the real deal. And being here, all the fans here, so I started paying attention to them. I thought they were really good. So anytime a Big Ten team wins a championship, it's good for the whole Big Ten.
Yeah, it was still amazing to me. It's one of those stories that if they were to go back to back, Justin, for example, they go to back to back. They're still only one of one doing what they did in that 2-year period, but that one season where they go unbeaten, you had the Heisman Trophy winner and all that. It was an incredible story, maybe one of the most incredible we've ever seen. It really was, and I didn't know if players also kind of feel that way, just like fans of the media might covering it.
Yeah, we definitely feel that way. I know if I got the chance to get to do that in college, that would be something that I'll never forget in my life.
Well, it was one hell of a story. All right, basketball fan at all? Are you a hoops guy?
I've been an NBA playoff watcher. I'll say that.
Yeah, well, it's much better, as maybe you've noticed, when the Pacers are involved. When the Pacers aren't involved, the Eastern Conference stinks. When they're involved, it's much more exciting. Maybe you've noticed that here recently.
Yeah, because when I first got here, that's when they had their little playoff run going. So I got to experience the first hand in the city. So, I love the Pacers.
Yeah, and see, that's what happens, too, if the Colts get on a run and get some things done. That's what happens as well. That's another goal to strive for right there. Hey, we are glad you're back, Justin. Congratulations on that full-go return, and the best of luck to you. We'll see you coming up in camp, certainly later on this summer. But stay safe, stay healthy, and go get them. And here's waiting for that first big play and that celebration, however you do it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Justin Walley right there, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I have never talked to him. Solid individual and a good conversation right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, a shout out to the Colts. They are always cool about doing that, and I appreciate it. First time right there, Justin Walley on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I shall take a quick break. We'll come back. I've already logged a lot of time with you in discussion. We'll mosey back into that coming up on the other side. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. That is AAA.com. Open road this summer. You have got to be. This is not just me and Matt Goins talking you up right here. You've got to have that protection. You've got to have that support of AAA. Become a AAA member today. AAA.com. You can slide by a AAA office today here locally, or here's what you do. Smartphone, hit a button, boom, done. That is AAA.com, or download that to your smartphone or device, hit a button, and become a AAA member today. When that family vacation is underway, you're covered on the open road with AAA. Quick break. We'll come back. Do not go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Hey, John here for Premier Deck Coating. You want your outdoor living space to be incredible, unique, incredible, slick looking, all the above. And Ron and Premier Deck Coating at 317-696-4071 will do that. Virtually any color with a 10-year guarantee. That means you don't have to worry about staining or painting every year or so. You're going to save money with that. Repels moisture, scratch resistant, offered in virtually any color imaginable. And this is exceptional around pool deck areas and steps. You know what I mean? No slipping or sliding with Premier Deck Coating. Free quote. Give Ron a call today, 317-696-4071, and tell me all about the experience, because your place will look fantastic with Premier Deck Coating. That's online, premierdeckcoating.com. It's Big Red Liquors that powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night. We're going to have another humdinger of a JMV Takeover, and all requests Saturday night. That is coming up this Saturday, 6 until midnight on B105.7. But Big Red Liquors is going to make sure that your plans this weekend are going to be spectacular with whatever you're looking for and being able to save big, too. We are talking an incredible sale, maybe the biggest sale ever on Scotch, Irish, and tequila deals, all half off. And this is going to be spectacular for you, too. Or if you want to go with Twisted Tea 12 packs, $5 off there. Budweiser Vintage packs, you're going to save $250. It is a great place to go because you're going to find what you're looking for at incredible prices. To find that location nearest you, that's bigredliquors.com. Again, red hot deals, speakeasy deals, and 100-plus locations in the state of Indiana powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night. Again, that location nearest you and some other deals you might be looking for the product that you want this weekend. That's bigredliquors.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Well, we're waiting.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Hope you enjoyed that for the first time. Justin Walley as a part of this. If you missed it, you can find it 1075thefan.com and a podcast. You've also got Kevin Smith, the filmmaker, the actor, the director, the comedian in town this weekend at Helium Comedy Club. Outstanding was Kevin Smith. And Kevin Bowen also a little bit earlier. Greg Rakestraw tomorrow is going to be off of Crawfordsville Road at Buffalo Wild Wings with Michelob Ultra. There's going to be some prizes given away in relation with the World Cup. Let me get this straight again. And I know they spell it differently. It's still Turkey, right? Paraguay, Australia, and Team USA. And the question is, can they make it out of the group? The United States is hosting this event. You make it out of the group, all right? It'd be about time when global soccer from the United States lives up to anybody's expectations except for disappointment. So, yes, you better. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Must-win situations. You better make it out of your group. You have to hear this, especially every 4 years. Everybody always tells me how nuanced this is, and you just don't understand. Well, the one thing I do understand is when you move on, when you win, and when you don't, and especially when you host this event, it's disappointing. With that group, yes. Greg's got you covered on all of the intelligent, I'm sure, researched opinions on that coming up tomorrow. Join him with Michelob Ultra, Crawfordsville Road. That is Buffalo Wild Wings from 3 until 6 tomorrow. JMV, I don't think SGA is the same player without his shenanigans. He will not put up the total points without it. It'll be interesting to see what the NBA does with it. See, I still think that he would get to the free throw line often. The shenanigans wear you out. And I put that more on the officials because everything else is trendy and you follow everything else by virtue of the player and what they do. Why can't you do it with that? This guy is a known, and I mean an elite level flopper. You call players that muscle up and are rough with that in mind. So why don't you do that with these guys? Seems easy to me. Is it not? Is it not easy? All right, 317-239-1070. That is the text line. That is where you want to call in, and Mike in Brooklyn has done that. Hello, Mike. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I got a question here. I was checking out some of the footage from the Colts camp.
Yeah.
It's good seeing Daniel Jones at least doing something, and noticing Anthony Richardson. Is the plan with Richardson just going to be, play this out, and are they going to carry this into the preseason and showcase him just because?
Well, I think it's going to work out like the absolute worst way possible. So let's consider let's consider that for a moment. What would be the worst case scenario?
Yeah,
or has it already? I guess it's already happened, though, right? So that's fair to say.
I would say, you might as well. I mean, the only chance that you have to get something for him is to put him out there in the preseason, and hopefully he can show something. But just like you said, the problem with that is you put him out there last year in the preseason, he couldn't handle a basic blitz, got splatted, and then you put him in a game. He apparently, according to Joel Erickson, I remember the play, he made the wrong read on the throw. So in the NFL, all these teams, they all have a book on all these players. So the fact that they can't get anything for them means that behind the scenes, I got to believe that everybody knows, this guy is just, he doesn't even have, the baseline to even, take a chance on him to develop him at all. I'm definitely not going to give anything up for him.
What would you be okay? What happens if, Daniel Jones isn't ready, or Daniel Jones is compromised in the game, and Richardson is on the team, and he's the guy thrust into the situation? And it's not Riley Leonard. It is Anthony Richardson Sr. and he performs, admirably and puts up some number. Who knows what, but does something positively. Would you rather have that or rather not see that whatsoever?
Well, I don't think it will happen. Is because when they were doing it, they made the point that the second man up was Riley Leonard.
Yeah.
So I think Richardson is just kind of like hanging on, and I love Riley Leonard. What an impressive young man that kid is. He's just a guy. He's just a gamer. You count him out. He can't do this. He can't do that. And you put him in the game, and he makes plays.
So that would be the worst case scenario. Would be Riley Leonard being injury compromised and having to go to Richardson Sr. and then he performs well. And is that the ultimate right there?
To be honest with you, I don't know. Behind closed doors, these are discussions.
I just think the thing that will be the worst for everybody involved will probably happen because that's what we know this thing to be about.
What I was thinking was, Shane Steichen is such a genius. Like, is there a chance that they would keep him on the roster and just like develop some kind of packages for him where he could just run like a wildcat, run around and make some plays? Or it doesn't seem like they even trust him to do that.
I think that he's never said it and he's never going to say it, but I think we can all tell by the actions that head coach does not like him at all. So as a player for his team, as a quarterback for his team. I think reading it all right here, that is the most noted. He's not with it, wanting him to be under center for his team.
Yeah, he's just one of those coach killer type players. And
did you hang up on Mike? Are you still there, Mike? That's okay. Nick is loading the phone bank in the other room right there, Mike. My bad on that. Go ahead.
All right. He didn't cut me loose, all right.
Go ahead.
But, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, actually it was good seeing them on the field doing something. And Daniel Jones going to be right at the 9-month mark. Gut feeling. You think he says he's going to be ready for week 1. Not that anybody will know. But
well, they're pushing that. And again, it was all, scripted for him today, but they're pushing that. I think with what you saw today, they're pushing the positivity of that becoming a reality. Are they not?
Yeah. Yep. I guess the Colts fan base is kind of like it's. Is it just kind of like right now at the point where let's just get this over with?
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. You want to see them win because you just want to see your team win, but I think most people out there don't hold this season with high regard. You're going to be glad when it's back, and I'm sure love, being a part of it if they win, but probably are viewing this thing as, something that's not going to be what they like, what they want, and we'll see. But with Daniel Jones, it kind of looks like that they're scripting this to get him ready, to have him ready. At least that's the visual that you get from him being out there. So we'll see.
Yes, all right. Yes, I'm always going to be 100% all in, no matter what I think. So
I know you will, buddy.
I've been doing that for 50 years. So I have some, as you know, some really bad. The '90s Colts. I was sure they were going to win the Super Bowl, and I was like, yeah, that's the only way I can approach it.
And you can't change now, Mike. I appreciate it. I hope you had a great weekend. We'll talk again soon.
All right, bro. Take care.
You got that. It's Mike in Brooklyn right there. This day in NBA history, I do remember this, much like you guys remember. The Bulls and the Pistons. Remember when the bad boys left, when the Bulls took over the reign from the East, after the Pistons took over the reign of the Celtics of the East, and the Celtics kind of did the same thing, and then the Pistons did it on what was later said was a suggestion by Bill Laimbeer. Left the floor with around 8 seconds remaining in the game. Without the handshakes and all that stuff. Does that seem like a big deal now? Everybody thought it was a big deal back then. I just don't think like it's a big deal now at all. I'm sure somebody would make it into a big deal, but I vividly remember that. We're still waiting, if you remember, around here for the Pacers to transform at that point in time. And that was when the whole Jordan era really pivoted back then. JMV, so I'm going around social media the other day, and I know one of your favorite films of all time would be Vision Quest. And I saw Matthew Modine, the actor who played Loudon in that in 1985. He pushed the video of the guy that he worked with, Elmo, and his speech about the 6 seconds on the mat or being a part of that particular sports moment. It's incredible how that has stood the test of time. I know you as a Vision Quest fan realize that it is, it's not something we always get the Gene Hackman from Hoosiers, and rightly so, but the Elmo from Vision Quest, that was a money speech as well in terms of sports. True story. Well done in that reference right there. Elmo from Vision Quest. 239-1070. Nick, get Jeff on board right here. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
JMV, I'm good. How are you?
Jeff, fantastic. Go ahead.
Fire Nick, by the way. He's just making all kinds of mistakes.
Nick's going to get canned in about 5 minutes by Jeff.
I'd be done with him. Hey, NBA officiating, okay?
Yes.
It's. I think I told you this for a few years now, but people are just like getting disgusted with it. Nobody wants to watch it. It's just garbage anymore. I mean, it's always been, they favored Jordan. You had Reggie that one year push off and hit a shot that you could have called an offensive foul. But, I mean, these guys take like 4 steps and they make all these rules about a gather step. They push off. They hop with both feet back behind the three-point line. It's garbage. It's unwatchable.
I can get with the gather. I can get with the Euro. I can't get with the falling down without contact or with the slightest contact. I can't get with that. I cannot move. I cannot move forward with that, Jeff. Full disclosure. Everything else, I think we've just seen. Some want to call it a maturation. I don't necessarily call it a maturation, an evolution, if you will, of basketball within the rules. And I think that's just, that's kind of, with the whole global love affair with basketball that wasn't really prevalent when we were growing up back in the day. It's just drastically different. I can get with that portion of it. I can't get with. I can't get with the theatrics and the flopping without contact. And that, especially from a guy that's the MVP, the 2-time MVP, that doesn't need to do that. That's what drives me nuts. And people say this all the time, Jeff, that Reggie Miller kicked out his leg. He did. Reggie Miller tried to draw contact. These guys all tried to draw contact with pump fakes and whatever. I'm okay with that. But the theatrics of falling down every time you get a minor touch or maybe not even touched at all, that's where I'm going to draw the line.
Do the best athletes in basketball need 3 and 4 steps? That's my only problem. I
don't think so. Maybe they do now in this day and age of a game, but no, I completely, Maybe Jeff. Maybe old man. Well, Jeff. Maybe they do because they're going against like athletes, right? They're not going against you and I out there. So, maybe they do need it because they're going against like athletes. I just think I can get with some of the gather and the Euro steps and all that. I just the theatrics and the flopping or the shenanigans I can't get down with.
Yeah, I think that the pure, and again, you and I grew up in a totally different era. I still think a majority of the people that watch sports today are the 50 and 60-year-old males. And I think for the pure basketball sport fan, they don't want to watch that. So I used to live and die by watching basketball. And I get it, the Pacers haven't been very good because they've been hurt, but still, it's just,
well, you did. You watched it last year. I mean, hell, we all watched it last year, right? Yeah, we all watched. Everybody watched it last year. And I think what you're saying is kind of true about as we get older, anyway, because it is difficult for some of us who are set in our ways to even find the games now. As you used to know exactly where it was whenever it came on.
Right.
And for the older generation, it is a little bit more difficult. I've just mentioned this. It's always going to be incredibly difficult for them to run me off with basketball. So and try, having to pay 19 different services to watch it is going to put me on that path before a gather step or a Euro step will. I can tell you that.
No, I agree with you. I think it is getting tougher. I still think the pure basketball fan doesn't enjoy the sport, and the ratings show that the ratings are way down. I mean, they're awful. So
it's so difficult to find, though. You think about the first 2 rounds of the postseason. I mean, hell, every other night it was on Amazon Prime or Peacock or NBC or ABC or ESPN. I mean, you got to be a little bit more unified than that. Even Charles Barkley's mentioned how that runs people off, and that's not necessarily the older generational folks. That's really a lot of people that go, "Damn, all right, where is it tonight? I'm just not going to jack with it," because there's other entertainment for you out there if you want to find it.
Yeah, I can't find it at 60 years old, so I'll have to go elsewhere and watch entertainment someplace
Jeff,
else.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks,
Have
brother.
a great night.
Yep. See you.
Quick break. We'll come back. Jacob on the other side. We got 8 minutes, I think, coming up after 6 o'clock as well of extra time. Is that Tidrow out there in the hallway that I saw too? He's got Fever Weekly. He does that live at 6:30. So that's the pisser that's making me stay until like 6:08. Well, he may take a couple of barbs in this studio. 08 with your coverage right here. It gives us a little extra time, a little anything goes. We'll take a break, come back. Greg Rakestraw tomorrow, I shall explain. Great show today. We'll explain that and more and set you up for Friday. AAA Membership Lounge, YouTube Live, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. John here for the District Tap. You got 2 locations, north side, that's Clearwater Crossing, and in downtown Indy. You know, a great thing about the downtown location is you've got everything going on. I mentioned that you're going to see Kevin Smith downtown. Maybe this weekend you can post up at the District Tap and then head over to see the show, come back, a little post-show activities at the District Tap. The damn good food, the happy hour specials, TVs everywhere, meaning you're not going to miss anything. Now, for those of you that are not going to venture downtown, you got the Clearwater Crossing location right out there in northern Marion County, which is spectacular, too. Ask for Sammy, the server, the bartender. Sammy is awesome, just like the food. Just like the event space, the live music that they offer as well. Just everything entertainment-wise you're going to find at both locations of the District Tap. To find out more for yourself, that's online, thedistricttap.com. What a great idea I have. Turn your yard into a place that you love with Sundown Gardens in Westfield. Save big at the Sundown Gardens. You've got everything that you need with Sundown Gardens in mind. The big Memorial Day sale now through the 31st 31st, in fact. Save 20% on the premium American-made Brio wood-burning fire pit. Engineered for a virtually smokeless experience. Plus, 20% off container trees and shrubs and 30% off of pottery. You'll find everything you need to create your dream outdoor living space at Sundown Gardens in Westfield. That's 186 in Spring Mill Road. Now, down south by me, that's Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville. You're going to save big at Miss M's Memorial Day sale now through the 31st. 20% on, well, the premium American-made Brio wood-burning fire pit. You can save big there as well. Plus 20% off container trees and shrubs, 20% off of patio furniture, and 30% off of pottery. Create that incredible outdoor living space at Miss M's on State Road 135, just south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
The Ride with JMV.
Just an average guy with exceptional hair.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, a little anything goes after the top of the hour. Here's something for the younger generation as an old dude right here. Does anybody watch HBO's Euphoria? Season number 3? Anybody out there? And I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Season number 3. So one of their characters, Nate Jacobs, this is how this guy gets offed on the show. You guys ready? Euphoria, season 3, I believe it is. This is how Nate Jacobs got offed on the show. He was buried alive in a coffin with a tube that goes up to the surface, yelling and screaming the entire time. And then all of a sudden, a rattlesnake comes into the picture. And I go, you guys aren't going to do this, are you? Come on now, you're not doing this. And the rattlesnake nonchalantly moseys over to the breathing tube down to the coffin in which he is buried alive. And as it might do, snakes its way down the tube. Yeah. I mean, it's like the worst fears of all time right there. Hopefully I didn't spoil that for anybody that hasn't seen that particular episode. But the first time I saw that snake, and I go, no, you're not doing that. And it did. So you are the younger generation. There's your shout out today. HBO's Euphoria. Zendaya is awesome in that, by the way, too. That's everybody loves Sydney Sweeney. She's a part of the cast. Euphoria, HBO. 239-1070. And Jacob is up next. Hello, Jacob. How are you?
Oh, doing all right. Appreciate you bringing up childhood memory regarding Vision Quest.
You got it.
every day before sectional in high school tournament, our coach would have us stay after practice and watch it. And went on and wrestled in college, and I was kind of reminiscing and brought it up again with the roommates. And there were a couple scenes in there that I didn't remember. So I gave my coach a call, and I was like, Coach, you give us a PG version? He's like, yeah, I can't show high school kids some of those scenes in there. So that kind of just was fun memory to bring up.
Elmo's speech, I think, was always kind of lost in great speeches of all, because there was so much greatness in that film. But his speech was terrific, and I saw the way Matthew Modine, the actor, he put that back up on social media over the weekend too, and it was good, and I think sometimes that's lost in the shuffle of how good that is.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of the younger generation, I asked him if he still shows it, and he said, no, they don't. They won't really get the premise of it. And I was like, I think any kid would, apart from the way the coach dressed on there. But I think we should bring back some mat maids as well.
Oh, man. Vision Quest in 85. That was great soundtrack and great film. For sure. And listen, for our generation, who did not long for the moment when a smoking hot 19-year-old drifter that never wears a bra moves into the basement downstairs with you and your dad? Come on.
Right.
I mean, you had me at never wears a bra. It was incredible.
Took me to college to figure that one out.
That was my vision quest right there, is having that.
Right.
All right, Jacob, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, vision quest. I mean, the whole wrestling moment and losing the weight, but it is the smoking hot 19-year-old drifter, braless drifter living in the basement. What world is this? All right. Got a little anything goes coming up on the other side, huh? Wes, did you say 8 minutes of anything goes? Good Lord. Kevin Bowen, Kevin Smith. One is a co-host of the Fan Morning Show. The other is a filmmaker and a comedian in town at Helium Comedy Club this weekend. Kevin Bowen, Kevin Smith. Podcast 1075thefan.com. Justin Walley of the Colts, also a little bit earlier. The podcast can be found there. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. They are making me stay for 8 minutes of anything goes. And if we're going to do that, we got to lead with him. Fulton on the other side with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, here we go. Anything goes. Florida-Georgia line. We're usher in 8 minutes that you will not soon forget. And our good friend, he is related to Dick Tidrow out there in the hallway, right? That's pretty awesome. Fever Weekly at 6:30 is the reason why I'm hanging around. The Fever and the Valkyries tomorrow night. That is at 10 o'clock, pregame 9:30 here on The Fan. And then the FAR, not the Fire, but the FAR, 8 o'clock on Saturday, pregame at 7:30. Greg Rakestraw, tomorrow Speedway, Crawfordville Road, Buffalo Wild Wings, Michelob Ultra, in front of the World Cup, stuff to give away and valuable knowledge. He will explain to you what you guys always tell me as soccer fans, the nuances of soccer. He'll explain it to you. Because I just kind of look at, all right, you're going to win, get out of your group. You better, because the United States is hosting this event. Greg has you coming up tomorrow afternoon, 3 until 6. Drop by and see him and win some stuff, too. Should be a hell of a time. Buffalo Wild Wings and Speedway off of Crawfordville Road. The Cubs have lost 10 consecutive games. Cubs and Pirates later on tonight. They'll see if they can't squash that at 10. Reds, Mets. Meantime, other Reds have won here consecutively. Very modest 3-game win streak for the Reds. Reds and Mets tonight, 7:10. White Sox and Twins tonight, 7:40. Habs and Hurricanes, Montreal. Bell Center, 8 o'clock. They dropped the puck. That is Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Stanley Cup Final. And the Hurricanes up 2-1 in that best of 7. Golden Knights already closed out things in the West last night, a 4-game sweep of Colorado. No NBA tonight because the Eastern Conference sucks. All right. Anything goes at 239-1070. My man, Fulton, is live, local, and late breaking. Hello, buddy.
What up, John? How are you this
I'm
evening?
outstanding. How are you, pal?
Doing all right. Getting ready for the Annie, the musical for Tech Week coming up next week.
Oh, man. Now, where's this going to take place?
It is going to take place at Noblesville White River Christian Church.
Okay.
It'll be June 4th through the 6th, which is a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. The show will be the time will be 7 o'clock on Thursday and Friday and Saturday night. And then we have a 2 o'clock show at Saturday afternoon.
You get a lot going on right there, Fulton.
Yes. Yep.
How did you spend your Memorial Day weekend, I should say?
Been relaxing. Just been relaxing and just helping around and help my mom out.
Oh, well done, buddy. That is well done. Busy week for you next week.
Yep, and I just talked to Rich Nye on Channel 13, and he sent me an email, and he said, good luck at the state games this year for Terre Haute. So he will let me know when the future with my Special Olympics story will be coming up soon.
Well done, buddy. Well done, Fulton.
Yep.
Well, have a great.
So how was your Memorial Day?
I didn't sleep too much, but I had a heck of a time, buddy. I'm always in for a good time.
How was the 500? Did you
It
have a good
was
time?
awesome. It was a part of the good time. It was a fun-loving weekend that I had.
That's great. Hopefully you can come to the show, John, and see the performance.
Annie, the musical with the star Fulton.
You might want to hear my my scene real quick.
Well, what is
You
it?
guys want to hear it?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yes. Let's hear it. Uh-oh. Clear the throat. Let's go.
Yep. There's a dog back there, and Jimmy Johnson, radio's only masked announcer.
That's well done. You hit the right note on that bad boy, buddy. Good
Thank
job.
you. Yep, and we'll be practicing every single time, and it'll be a It'll be a good show, and everyone's going to love it. So
yes,
the
they
tickets are
will.
on sale on the website.
Say hi to our friend Fulton right there. Fulton, I appreciate it. Well done.
Thank you, John.
You got it. That's Fulton right there. Good job. Good job. Is Tyler next on Anything Goes at 239-1070? Tyler, jump on here.
Hey, JMV, thanks for taking my call.
Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted to commend you and Hagen for your conversation with Gigi Garner the other afternoon. That was so sweet and so kind and so wholesome, and I know it made her day. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Thank you. You know, we are obviously big fans of her father, and we're awestruck with the conversation with her because, you know, he growing up, I mean, he was it. He was one of the guys out there. And for her to want to be a part of that in the fashion, and especially on that weekend when we know that her father was so involved with racing and fast cars in the Indianapolis 500, you're right, it was awesome just hearing her stories, and I could have done that even longer.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate it. Nixon there getting used to the board. You better get used to it on Friday, man. You're going to be all by your lonesome in there. No, Gigi Garner was on the show. That's the daughter of the late James Garner on Friday. And she was outstanding. They are rebooting the Rockford Files. I believe David Boreanaz, the actor, is playing Jim Rockford in it. And, you know, you never really know with somebody that is close, you know, how she would feel, but she is all in on it. Thank you very much, Tyler. Gigi would love to hear that you enjoy the conversation. Steve is next on Anything Goes at 239-1070. Hello, Steve.
Hey, John, glad you recovered from the weekend.
I am recovered, I think, kind of. I still need to get a little bit more sleep, but I've hooped like 3 times between now and then, too, and I'm just an absolute mess right now. I need to get a little bit of rest, but I'm good. Go ahead.
Poop and mess, 2 words you never want to use in the same sentence.
No, I said, well,
Mark
hoop, not poop, but yeah, hoop and mess. Hoop, my jump shooting ability is failing me right now. So I'm not going to get a contract with anybody shooting like this. It's sad.
Anything goes. Mark James has been great way before he was the chief announcer for the Motor Speedway Radio Network. He's been great as the chief announcer, but he took it to a new level and went from great to immortal on Sunday. I feel sorry for people that have not that somehow consumed that race without the Motor Speedway Radio Network. I thought Jake was typically great. The other guys were good. The new guy was decent. But Mark became an immortal, and it should be mentioned.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's nothing better than that broadcast. And I'm with you about always thinking that Mark was so good, and once he ended up getting in that chair, that he was going to excel. And, Steve, that's exactly what he's done.
It's been I don't think we understand how fortunate we are to have a guy who is a phenomenal broadcaster, is a super humble guy, cares so – I mean, the fact of the matter is he's still a school teacher, and at the very end of the network part of the broadcast, you know, he thanks his family and he thanks the people at Monrovia High School.
Yeah.
And I love a guy that never forgets the little guys.
No doubt. Steve, that is a money call by you. Thanks, pal. He's right. This date in history, according to my friend Doug. This date, James, 1988, the legendary Monsters of Rock tour kicked off in East Troy, Wisconsin. Van Halen, the Scorpions, Dokken, Metallica, and Kingdom Come. That ended up here as well in one rockin' summertime event. Monsters of Rock on this date back in 1988. Not here, but started in Wisconsin. You guys remember that, don't you? Greg Rakestraw, tomorrow, Crawfordsville Road, Buffalo Wild Wings, Michelob Ultra. That starts at 3. Beaver Weekly, guys, coming up next.